You'll be shocked to discover that 80% of the hire manager for AI product management doesn't have the hands-on experience as a product manager. So how would you actually really create the Gen AI product and actually really create the product and people really love? In this video, we had the pleasure to invite the senior product manager of Gen AI, Hadika from Amazon, to share with you the hands-on experience of how to create a Gen AI product and how to become a Gen AI product manager. Hey guys, this is Dr. Nancy Lee, a director of product and featured in Forbes. I've helped thousands of people land the dream PM job offer in FAANG companies and unicorn startup and continue to get promoted as a product leader. In this channel, we'll talk about free product management training and tech trends. Like and subscribe and check out new video every Tuesday. Hi Hadika, welcome to the show.
Hi, Dr. Nancy. Good afternoon. How are you?
I'm doing very well. I'm so excited to have you to join our show because I love to talk about the trend of Gen AI and also have several female leaders to join our show. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you so much. And your podcast is amazing. I look forward to discussing more Gen AI trends. And I really hope that we can have more women in the senior leadership roles and in the PM roles in Gen AI.
Yeah, exactly. So now, Hadika, let's do a quick intro. I know, congratulations for your new role, joining Amazon as a senior Gen AI product manager. I also know that yourself have been in the AI space with hands-on experience building, developing AI product for over 6 years in total. So now let's do this. Hadika, why don't you give us a quick introduction of yourself and see your journey to Gen AI PM?
Of course. Thank you, Dr. Nancy. So, hi everyone. My name is Hardika. I am a senior product manager tech for Gen AI within the Fire Tablets team at Amazon. I have about 8+ years of product management experience. Most of that has been across the AI space in early stage startups, including Involve AI, where I was the founding product manager and recently became the senior director of product. I've helped build the industry's first leading AI-generated dashboard, which uses customer data to help prevent upcoming churn and create predictions around it. We have helped save companies millions of dollars in predicted churn, and our own organization has grown 200% year over year through that increase. I would say that to become proficient in AI, I think I was fortunate enough to get the opportunity to get hands-on learning experience within my organization and transform that into a Gen AI PM experience, which I'm very excited to start at Amazon.
And Hadika, this is so exciting regarding you already had AI experience, now join an even bigger company. And people will be thinking, people are like, it'll be easy to join those like FAANG companies, become Gen AI PM. Is that true?
No, that's not true. I would say that it might have been easier earlier, perhaps, but I would say right now in this market, things are so unpredictable and decisions are changing so fast. I think today, hiring processes are changing so quickly that I wouldn't say that, getting into a FAANG company is as easy now as it was maybe 3 to 4 years ago.
True.
The reason being that the market is very different. I mean, forget about recession. That is obviously a huge factor, a huge thing that plays a role in it. But in addition to that, the requirements have changed. Most of the companies are looking for someone who has that AI or the Gen AI experience per se. But if you remember, Gen AI, the entire process around it only started less than 2 years ago.
Exactly.
So back in November 2022 is when ChatGPT was released. Right now, it's May 2024. It's hardly been 2 years, but the entire landscape has changed. So PMs, especially, in addition to that, engineers and data scientists too, have been forced to upskill themselves really fast. So, and either you survive here or you don't thrive anymore. Because either you learn those skills or you're out of the market. And that's the reason why I said that it's a little harder now. The second thing is that every company is looking for different skill sets. So, if you're interviewing with Microsoft, they are looking for something which is very different. Like they might want someone who has 8+ years of AI experience and then maybe a year or so of Gen AI experience.
I see.
If you look at Meta, they might want someone with 4 years of AI experience. It changes. The requirement changes from company to company, but something that stays consistent is that everyone now wants someone who has some level of Gen AI capability, and that's the reason why it's very important for every PM to train themselves on this, because even the resources out there are pretty limited. I'm not saying they're not there, and we will talk about it in more details as we progress. But compared to all other PM resources, these are limited. So you need to be really smart about how you're using your time to upskill yourselves while you're doing your day-to-day work.
Perfect. So Hadika, so now let's dive into the details regarding how exactly yourself conquer these challenges. So let's talk about the first challenge. Hadika, you mentioned the market is changing dramatically, which is true. It's very funny. So I had a baby in December 2023 after 3 months maternity leave. Thank you. After I had a baby, after I came back for 3 months, oh my goodness, like Autopilot just launched, like it just was launched. Gemini was launched. So many new things was launched. Like even with that, after short maternity leave, the whole world of AI is different. So how did you really conquer the challenges of the entire industry being shifted and changing all the time?
That's very good. And that's a very broad question. I think the first thing is to stay up to date with all the changes that are happening. So you need to put yourself in that mindset that, hey, if I'm using this product today, if I were to incorporate AI into this, how would this change tomorrow? And then look at what all updates are coming into the industry. So every other week, a new LLM is being released. Existing LLMs are getting improved. And the resources that you could refer to stay up to date for that would be there's deeplearning.ai. They have short courses so that you could look at, how to be a Gen AI PM. You could also understand how to use maybe, ChatGPT for app building, etc. But also those courses need to be updated too, because a lot more LLMs have come into the picture today. The second thing would be, Dr. Nancy, you have launched your own course about being an AI PM and how to get hands-on knowledge through hands-on products and build your Gen AI experience there. So I would say that would be extremely helpful, because as a Gen AI PM, if you have actually built apps before using LLMs, that already differentiates you from the others, because that helps you understand the technicalities, the challenges, the implementations, and the use cases about how, when, and why to use those apps. Third thing, subscribe to newsletters. Like there's the MIT Tech Review, there's Alpha Signal, which talks about, new LLMs. What are the parameters? How's the fine tuning improved? What is the inference cycle, etc. So again, a PM does not need to understand this in as much technical details. But if you have that knowledge, your conversation with engineers is so much better. And that, again, is what helps differentiate you in this market. So I would say the first challenge is to stay up to date, and we talked about the resources to do that. The second thing is that if you can build an app using any LLM out there, that would be helpful, especially if you don't have experience as a Gen AI or an AI PM. Building an app does not have to be very complicated. I mean, think about something that you do in your day-to-day. For example, you're applying to various jobs, right? And you're using different portals. You're using LinkedIn, Indeed, Glassdoor to see what are the new roles which are being posted, what are the titles of those roles, which companies are you filtering down on. So rather than doing that manually every morning, you could actually use existing LLMs out there to create an app. Simplest thing, use ChatGPT 4.0 to create that app, where it would tell you, based on the filters you provide it with and the time duration that you give it, exactly when a new job has been posted. It will also, the app could also help you correlate your experience with the job description that they're looking for, and filter your resume accordingly or modify your resume accordingly, and then you could apply to that role. So think about the number of hours that you're going to save on manually searching for something and just having it all automated for you. And automation is key today. This is what all the LLMs are doing right now, and this is what you can do as well. That's why I said that you don't have to think of something that's, a pie in the sky idea. You can think of something that's in your day to day, and you could implement that.
Yeah, exactly.
Please.
And actually with PM Accelerator, I'm having our student in the AI PM course to actually build a chatbot using our training content on YouTube and inside Kajabi so that they can create something like more filtered and tailored to their specific background, and also ask questions regarding that. That could be Dr. Nancy Lee, but it's not me, but based on my training data. They ask Dr. Nancy Lee, I'm having interview with Apple tomorrow. What module should I focus on first? And based on my this background, that background, what do you think is the number one thing I should prepare so that I can pass the first one interview and meta, those kind of questions. They can literally start training, thinking about what's day to day you're doing and about how to use AI to make everything more efficient.
Exactly. And see how many hours we've already saved here, Dr. Nancy, for the students, from searching and filtering and then waiting for a response to actually getting instant access to resources and answers and applying them for the interview the next day. So I think that's a great idea. Yeah. Awesome. And the third thing that I also wanted to mention was real quick is that every app that you're using on a day-to-day basis, just start getting into the mindset of how can you but how can you incorporate AI into that app? Quick example. I use Uber Eats every week. I love to order in, right? We all do. You might be using Uber Eats, you might be using DoorDash.
Exactly.
Now, the one thing that I don't do and Uber Eats tries to promote to me is that, hey, why don't you try this new restaurant, or why don't you try this new place? And I go like, I don't want to try it. The reason being, I don't know how it is. I will have to do some research on how the place is, what are the timings, will my family like the food, etc. And I don't have the time to do that research. Now think about this. What if I just asked Uber Eats, hey, today's a Friday evening. I'm, my whole family is here. We are in the mood for something very hearty, very delicious, but we want it within the next 30 minutes. What could you recommend? My preference would be Indian, followed by Mediterranean, followed by Chinese cuisine. And it gives me 3 to 5 options then and there. And that's it. That's all I need to do. I get the answer. So this is AI right there. So much time of mine has been saved. So, this was an example just to get your juices flowing into what could you do to get yourself into that mindset before, you become a GenAI PM.
This is awesome. Yeah, actually, all the product managers eventually will turn into an AI PM sometime in the future, but now we can just horn all of those kind of like AI thinking onto our day-to-day basis, which is also inside of the PM Accelerator, the AI PM track, we actually teach people to gain those hands-on experience in building those apps by themselves. But thank you so much for sharing with us regarding you can get started today immediately. So now, Hadika, why don't we talk about the second challenge regarding each company has different needs, right? As you mentioned, Apple has something different, Microsoft something different, as well, years of experience. Of course, they always want to describe the dream quote husband. It's like, oh, they can do this and this and this with 5 years AI experience, 2 years Gen AI experience. Ideally, went to Harvard and then have a computer science degree from Stanford. Those kind of stuff. Well, each company is different. So how would you really adjust to different companies' needs?
I would say before you think about company needs, think about your needs. Think about the needs of the role that you're applying to. So think about what your background is, and based on your background, what's a good fit for you. And I think, Dr. Nancy, that's where, again, your course becomes very helpful too, because you have very dedicated mentors, including yourself, who would help students identify that based on your resume and your past background, here are the roles that would work well for you. Then, based off of those roles, identify the companies that you want to go in. I would also recommend don't stick to only FANG companies. Broaden your horizon. Look at startups as well. And the reason I'm talking about startups is because, again, they're not going to have very fancy requirements. What they want is for someone to come in and get the job done And
Yeah.
that will also give you the opportunity to actually get hands-on experience on building something from the ground up. And this is the experience that you can then use at your next company. Now, be it a FANG company, be it another startup, wherever you want to go from there. So I would say don't just limit yourself, because yes, FANG companies are being very picky, which obviously does not mean that you won't get there. You will. But if you want to especially brush up your resume, brush up your skills, then you might want to find some place which gives you the opportunity to do that. So that would be number one.
And what is true, we do see lots of people getting those AI jobs in FANG companies in our program, and also people who had head of product positions in some startups, or even senior AI PM positions in a different kind of unicorn startup as well. And now you never know. So AI, which is the beginning of the AI. Where the beginning of the AI era, you never know where AI is going. Maybe the startup you join today will be the next Google in the coming 3 years, 5 years, maybe even sooner. We never know, right? So you're right. It's more important thinking about what do you need, what the job needs to get done. Is this going to help you to grow or not? Maybe in the near term, you join startup. In the long term, join FANG companies. And of course, like people can also follow Hadika's track, directly join FANG companies, start from day one. You can do that as well. But it's more open up your search and be strategic regarding defining your career success and career growth. Actually, I have a different video about different product managers' career paths and how to design a career path. You guys can check out more videos right here. Link it in the description of this video as well.
The second thing that I was referring to was that we talked about how you could get more hands-on experience within startups. Now, even within FANG companies, look at roles which, if you don't have much of AI experience, look at roles which are asking for very limited experience, maybe 1 or 2 years of AI experience. That would probably, or that hiring would probably be in a team which already has its AI processes set up. So when they hire you, you would actually be able to learn about what has already been done and help, either iterate on it or maintain it, which is also a great opportunity. So, be ambitious, but be realistically ambitious, if that makes sense. So that, you also find like what is the right fit for you in the process. And the third thing is that whenever you are applying to any of these companies, be it FANG companies, startups, etc., research their products. And again, think about how can you incorporate AI strategically in those products? What could the challenges be? So that when you're talking to the hiring manager about that, they already know that you've started thinking about it. You've started thinking about the problem statements and the use cases, and which will also help you not only understand the product better, but also understand the fit better. Like, is this the right fit for you based on the role and based on the problem and the solutioning that you're going through?
Yeah, exactly. This is also, we typically recommend our students use the Gucci framework methodology to create your maybe the shortcut version of your product portfolio. So before you join any company, what if I can build a product portfolio to show them what could be on the roadmap? What does it look like? And then use this methodology to really enhance your learning. And then when you go to interview, you already know what the future roadmap look like. And you have very intelligent conversation with the interviewer.
Yeah. And I would love to talk about the Gucci framework more, Dr. Nancy. Every interview that I've been to, I've done two things. Number one is I have my product portfolio, which I take to the interview. And depending on, what the role is and if this is a good fit, and also looking at, what the attitude of the hiring manager is, I bring up my portfolio and we go over it. But the second thing is that using the Gucci framework, which is I think about what's the goal of the company, what is the customer segmentation, what are the unmet needs, who are the competitors, and then what are the recommendations that we can provide within an integrated ecosystem, and how can we create a roadmap around it. So I think the reason that I think in that kind of framework is that by the time I actually get to the interview, I already have all the answers in my mind. So the moment that they start discussing about their product or their unmet needs, I can actually add more to that and I can start providing some kind of high level solutions. Obviously, doing a hiring manager interview, you don't go into very detailed solutions, but again, they do appreciate the fact that you've thought about it and that you're coming up with ideas.
This is awesome. Hey guys, we have a free training about Gucci framework, which is also one of the most used framework in the product management domain to create the product strategies. You can take the free training right here in the Gucci framework on top of the video. I'll also link it in the description of this video as well. Another quick plug-in, and actually in the next video we're going to film with Hadika. She's going to give you a real-life example how to put AI on Instagram roadmap using the Gucci framework. You guys should definitely subscribe to this video and check out my next video. All right, so now, Hadika, let's continue regarding finish those challenges. Let's also talk about your mindset shift. I personally is a big believer of mindset. When people work really hard, you also need to work really smart as well, because a lot of time we all heard of those phrases, but when people work really hard, they forgot the North Star. That's why they're not working smart enough. So that's why I like to emphasize on mindset shift, because the mindset shift can actually help you to spend the 20% of time on the 80% most important thing. So can you tell us what is your most important mindset shift that push you to the next level?
Sure. I think a couple of things. Number one was that as I was in my past company at Involve, I'd been there for over 6 years. And for me, I decided that now this was the time that I need to get out of my comfort zone. Because like I knew everyone within the company had great rapport. And again, you could either stick with that or you could decide to challenge yourself and continue to grow across different industries and learn more about what's happening out there, which is what I wanted to do. So after 6 years, I made the decision that, okay, now is the time that I want to seriously start looking for other opportunities. The second thing that I was very consistent about was that I wanted to stay in the Gen AI space. I was coming from an AI background. I loved being an AI PM, and I wanted to make sure that I did not lose track of that. So I did not compromise on my next role. So that's why I decided to take some time and filtered the roles that I started applying to make sure that they matched what I was looking for.
Yeah.
The third thing was also that, as I said a few minutes ago, I did not stick to one kind of company. I broadened my horizons. My goal was to see what are the companies which are using AI or are trying to now use AI in their strategies. So I interviewed with a lot of early stage startups, Series D companies, Series E companies, Series F companies. And what that gave me, even though it didn't give me an offer, what that gave me was great exposure into what other companies were doing, what were their challenges, what were their chief strategy officers and chief product officers thinking about. And just getting that insight from that high level really helps you understand, like, what are the challenges that exist out there in the industry? And as a Gen AI PM, how will you help solve those challenges? So after every interview or after every rejection, I went back with the learning. And I came back and actually researched on, what could I have done better? How could I have incorporated a better strategy here? And then I would come back to your classes, Dr. Nancy, and discuss that with you. That, hey, this is the answer that I gave, didn't work out. What could I have done better here? What would be a better strategy? How would I present it better? And I think that also helped me get a much better idea on not only how to think, but also how to present. And I think after maybe 30 or 40 rejections, that's when I got this role with Amazon. But please go ahead.
Yeah, I felt like this was the growth mindset really kicked in, because rejections is normal, right? So lots of people always feel, oh, people get rejected. I got rejected. What should I do? Well, lots of people getting rejected all the time because you only need one job offer. You only need the best job offer. And I believe if you didn't have those rejections or you didn't learn from those rejections, you were not going to land the best offer you can have right now. Like, I know all your interview process, all your offers or rejections, and I feel like this is the best offer on the table, right? For all the companies you talk to, this is the best. Yeah, the dream company, dream team with fan logo, highest paid ever, everything combined. I was like, this is the best. But every obstacles you faced, is leading you to where it should be. So therefore, I encourage everybody to really think about how would you use the growth mindset methodology to empower you get into the next level. Of course, get some support from the communities and getting advice from other people, and also other of your classmates also went through the same process, getting rejected. All the sharing process is very important. Thank you so much for sharing, especially those your vulnerabilities, because people will be thinking be easy for you to land a job, but you're just talking about you had objections as well. And I think people just feel like they're not alone on the journey. Thank you so much.
No, yeah. And I'll be honest, I was very overconfident going into this process. And this is exactly how I thought, that because I have the experience, it will be easier for me to get the job. I think it took me easily 9 months, easy to not in 9 months, actually. I've been in your course for a year. So it took me a pretty long time to land the right fit. So again, you could either land an offer or you could land the right offer. Yeah. My goal was to land the right offer.
Yeah,
and that's
the best
why
one.
I took my time to figure out which was the right fit for me.
Yeah, I do believe currently is the best one based on my insider knowledge regarding what's going on with Amazon. That's literally the best offer on the table, and all the experience, all the companies talk to as well. Perfect. So Hadika, let's do this. Given you yourself talked about you had years of AI experience, so now you become GenAI PM, but GenAI is also kind of new. So what's the difference between GenAI and traditional AI PM?
Yeah, that's a great question. I would say, as a traditional AI PM, you have to think about and build everything from the ground up, which means not only getting the right data, but also building the right models. And when you are building, like within our company, we had multiple models for multiple customers, depending on the size of the customer, the industry they were coming from, and their use cases. Now, and it took us a long time to build those models. It took us almost 2 to 3 years to actually get those models up and going before we could launch it to our customers. Now, so as an AI PM, my role was to understand what were the needs of these customers, what were the gaps in data, what is the right data set that we needed to get, how do we manually fine tune all of that data, then how do we create a model from the ground up, working with our data scientists and ML engineers, then we feed all our data into those models, then how do we test it, build that iterative process, and then launch it to customers. Now, as a Gen AI PM, the good thing is that I will already have, or you will already have access to all the foundational models out there.
Yeah.
Every company, or most of the companies, especially the bigger companies, will have their own foundation models. So Amazon will be using its own, Amazon has Amazon Bedrock. Meta has Llama. Microsoft has OpenAI's ChatGPT. So these companies already have their own foundation models, based off of which you can then, depending on your use case and your data, you can build a quick model to implement across customers. So in this case, you don't have to go through the entire process of doing the ground up research and build separate individual models with different types of data. All of that time will be saved because you already have foundation models existing for you. And for startups, and when I say startups, I'm talking about every company out there which does not have a foundation model. Maybe it's a startup or it's not. They might be using other companies' foundation models. They might be using ChatGPT's model, or they might be using Llama or Bedrock or Azure, for example. So they might be using other models. But the thing is that now they don't have to wait for 2 years to launch it to customers. Literally in 2 months, or maybe 3 to 6 months, you have your model up and going and your customers can start using it. That is the difference. So as a traditional AI PM, in a nutshell, you're doing everything from the ground up, all the research and all the development. But as a Gen AI PM, you are identifying which models to use, what data to use, and then you decide what to build on top of that.
This is awesome. It's actually speed up the process of bringing AI to the real life applications. I literally, we have seen lots of AI startups just like as a sprouts getting out of the ground and launching their own product very fast. And lots of companies actually pivot into those like AI company just because the existing foundation model. This is very groundbreaking.
Exactly. Yeah.
Awesome. So thank you so much for sharing with us, Hadika. And actually, the most important part for everybody to learn is how exactly would you put AI on real companies' roadmap and what the hands-on experience would look like. So actually, in our next video, Hadika is going to give us a demo regarding how to put AI on Instagram's roadmap. How would she think about AI is going to change the future of Instagram and how to implement those AI technology. It's super, super exciting. So make sure to see us in our next video right here. And thank you so much for joining us, Hadika. And everybody, if you find this video super insightful and really want to get into AI space, make sure to like and comment and subscribe to the channel. I'm going to see you in my next video right here. Thank you, Hadika. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dr. Nancy.